Hey, hello everybody, and welcome back to another World of Tanks miniatures game review. So anyway, looking at today is the SU-100 expansion for the game, which is a Wave 1 expansion. So let's get this thing cracked open, take a look at the model as we usually do, and then the cards. So, before we get into that, actually, you can see, and this is the same for every one of these Gale Force 9 World of Tanks expansions. It tells you on the packet what it includes. So for this one, the tank itself, the model, which says painted, but we know from looking at these, this is actually primed. The tank card, 5 upgrade cards, and an online bonus for online players, which I am not. And I think I've said this before in these videos, but what I really like about these is the fact that you can, in the blister, you can actually see the model, right? So you can see how, as you're buying this in the store, I bought this online, but if you go to a store, to buy this, you can see that it's, quality built and quality painted before you make your purchase. So that is definitely a plus. Let's crack this open. Let's take a look more closely at the model. Just looking at it through the blister, it looks pretty good. Get this off camera here so I don't break anything. Don't worry, that was not the sound of the model breaking. It was just the blister pack bending. So anyway, here it is. Let's get this model out. So this is the SU-100 model. This is a Battlefront miniatures model. So at first glance, everything looks pretty good. As usual, good priming, maybe a little rough in some spots, but we've seen before in other videos it's pretty easy to correct with some sanding and some wet sanding. But it's pretty well built. I don't see any issues here with the build itself. Everything looks pretty clean, and this is, after all, it's a Russian tank, so even if it didn't look too clean, historically we know that these things were being banged out of the factories, as good as it had to be to go to the front line. So I wouldn't even worry too much if it wasn't great. But anyway, a good looking model. I think this is gonna be awesome for some painting. So let's take a look at the cards. So starting off with the tank card. So the SU-100, what is it? It's a tank destroyer. It's got the assault gun and the light flank rules. It cost of 51. So let's look at the card. Usually tells you in the back what does that mean, those rules, right? So tank destroyer means it gets a +1 defensive dice while in cover. And assault gun rules, it has restricted line of sight, fixed field of fire. Basically what that means, it can only shoot things that are in front of it, not to its side, and of course not behind. The rule book on page 10, it explains that in greater detail. And then light flank, if you get shot on the sides, you will subtract an additional defense dice. So I guess it kind of behooves you to stay in cover. So when even if you get hit on the side, you go +1 in cover, and then you delete 1, so you end up even in the end. So stat wise, firepower 6, pretty good. You would expect that with this big 100mm gun, pretty powerful gun. Survivability starts with 2, mobility 2, and yikes, the initiative is pretty low, 3. So I think if you're playing this in the game, and I have another one, and I'll show you these guys that in a little bit. I haven't played it in the game, even though I already built and painted another one. But the initiative needs, I think that's the thing that would need to be bumped up. 4 crew positions, and then 5 hit points. so that's pretty decent. So looking at the upgrade cards, you have an engine upgrade, which gives you some additional initiative during movement, so that's pretty good there to bump up that initiative to 3. Land lease oil, which needs to be discarded to use and gives you another 2 initiative. This one is also pretty good. In the game, every time I play, I try to bump up everybody's initiative. What I try to do is keep all my tanks with the same initiative. So this coated optics card is pretty nice for that, because it adds +1 initiative whether it's moving or shooting. And that's always good if you have a tank that has initiative, like 3, and you want to bring it up to a 5 when you already have a tank that has 5. This is always a good addition. It doesn't cost a lot, and it gives you that initiative for both moving and shooting. You have an intuition card, which is a loader. You can see there what it does, and it looks pretty good, not very costly. And then one commander, a unique card, Damir Nerasov. And you see the abilities there for that one. So pretty good upgrade cards, nice model. And then just so you have an idea here, so this is not the first one that I got for this, and I'll explain a little bit why I have 2. So here is another one that I bought earlier, and then did all the cleanup and then the painting, some decals from spare decals that I had, so you have an idea of what you can make these look like. The only addition that I made to the model is I took a wooden dowel and I put the ubiquitous Soviet log on the tank, just to add a bit of color to what otherwise would be a pretty it's not a very colorful tank. And then the Soviet slogans, I think, also make the color pop up a little bit. So for Flames of, or for World of Tanks, I'll have at least 2. But the reason why I've been doing this is I also play Flames of War. And this is one of the great things about these World of Tanks miniatures games models, is you can, because they're the same models that you would use for Flames of War, the Battlefront miniatures models, you can almost use these tanks to build up your forces little by little for Flames of War. So like I say, I got this one initially, and then what I had was, and what I really want to build is for Flames of War, late war Soviet. I wanted to build a what is in the Soviet Bagration book is the medium anti-tank battalion, which is you can build it as a mix of SU-100s and SU-85s. So what I had already in my pile of shame is these mid-war SU-85s, which I hadn't built. But the interesting thing, even though you look at the box, it's mid-war, and in mid-war you wouldn't have SU-100s, you would have SU-85s. And you look at the back of the box, it says, hey, here's how you build a SU-85. The fact of the matter is, inside the box, you have the sprues to build SU-85s and SU-100s. So what I did from this box, and as you can see, there's 4. Excuse me, I'm breaking things here. All right, back to the camera. What you can build here is 4 SU-85s, but what I did was I build 1 SU-100, which is going to be my SU-100 command tank, which I will add the previous World of Tanks expansion to it, plus the one I just got. And then from that box, and this is what I'm slowly building here, it's almost done. I'm building some SU-85s. So 3 SU-85s. You see there what it looks like right now. Still got to do some more washes and eventually a matte varnish on these, but you know, the idea is to have a medium self-propelled anti-tank battalion, which has a headquarters. The headquarters is a T-34-85, a platoon of 3 SU-100s, and then a platoon of 3 SU-85s. And I think to just buff up that formation, I'm going to add a Hero SMG platoon to it. So it would be pretty cool to try that out. So, you know, just to give you an idea, outside of just playing World of Tanks miniatures game, what are you able to do with these little models? So, anyway, hope you enjoyed this quick review here, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching.